What up, guys? Today we got a question from Austin, who recently got his blue belt. He's getting ready to move into a new home, and he just had his second child, so he's got a newborn baby. He's got a lot of things going on. And congratulations on the blue belt, Austin. You've accomplished something that very few people ever will. It's a big deal. And so with that said, he's got a lot of things going on, and he's going to be taking probably 3 to 6 months off from the gym to get the home situated, to get the newborn situated, to get everything in his life situated. And he's kind of anxious about, the gym situation because he's going to be moving to a new gym. He just got his blue belt. He doesn't want to lose all this skill that he's developed. And so he sends me the message. He says, Chewy, how should I navigate this challenge? Do you have any tips? And he also asks, what are some things that I can do to stay sharp with my jiu-jitsu without a training partner? So bro, thanks for the question. So I'm going to answer this video in 2 parts. One is going to be the mental side. And this is really important because if you become an older grappler, you have to understand this. At least in my bearded opinion, and you're not old by any means, Austin, but you're getting older. You're old enough to have a second kid, a wife, a career, and a house, right? So you've got things going on, and this is something older grapplers have to embrace mindset-wise. The second part will be more of like a tactical, here's the physical thing to do to keep yourself sharp when you come back to the gym. So mental side of it, really important. I always start with the mental stuff in these videos because I don't think if you don't get your head right, it's really hard to get yourself to do the other stuff, right? So the mental side of it. Here's the big part. You have to respect the season that you're moving into with your life, right? And this is something that happens to us as we get older. Things are just pulling at us, right? Like when I remember being in my late teens, early 20s, I didn't have responsibilities, bro. Like nothing. It's like I could train, I could focus. There was so much not going on that I could be narrowly focused. There was so much bandwidth that I could give to jiu-jitsu, right? As I got older, and again, this is coming from someone who literally sort of lives their life on the mat. As I've gotten older, my training will sometimes slack because of things like business, family, wife, home, whatever. All this stuff starts pulling at you. And then, then you're trying to carve out your little niche of time for yourself, right? To train. It's difficult. And there are periods of times where you're going to swing one way or the other. Maybe you give more time to the family than maybe for me, for instance, last year, I remember there was a couple months where I was getting ready for Worlds, and I told my wife, I'm going to be, dialing back on these days at home and and she picked up the slack there, and I started training more. And then when the competition was over, it was like, all right, I took a week off from training and the gym and everything else, and I just hung out with the family to kind of, get back to it, right? So again, just swinging. And for me, I think about this as the idea of balance, right? Like everybody's trying to find the balance in their life, the balance in their training, balancing it all. To me, balance is not this never-ending stability. Balance is it's never-ending instability. That sounds bad, right? Because unstable sounds unpredictable, but it's not. It's kind of a predictable instability because things are constantly changing. When you watch a person when they're balancing, how are they on a tightrope or a balance beam? There's a little bit of movement associated with them, right? They're not just sitting still. They're adjusting to their body so they don't fall off. And so I think of it that way with us as we're balancing training, our life, and everything that we have coming at us. And again, more and more stuff tends to find its way on our plate as we get older, right? Well, as those things are happening, you have to balance. You have to adjust. And for you right now, my friend, we're moving towards family and wife and kids and taking care of all these things, and training is going to the wayside, and that's the right move. It's the right decision. It's the way it should be, right? Getting a couple extra rounds in the gym is not as important as your wife and your family, right? Just the way it is. Now, that said, what do you do to keep yourself in the best possible condition for when you come back, right? What do you do? Well, first off, just understand and be okay with the fact that you're going to lose skill. Again, this is the season you're in, right? You're going to lose skill. There's no way around it. You're not going to keep up the same level of skill that you have without consistent training partners and all that stuff. It's just not going to happen. You can watch all the instructionals you want. You can go around and wrestle with a grappling dummy all you want. It's not going to help you it might help you, but it's not going to stop you from losing a little bit of skill, timing, and all that stuff. It's just the way it is. The biggest thing though, and this is the biggest thing I tell people anytime they have a layoff, this is the biggie. This is the thing where I see let's say if you have 4 people in jiu-jitsu taking layoffs, 3 people mess this up. And it makes it a slog when they come back to training. That is, do not let yourself get fat and out of shape, right? I don't know what kind of condition you're in now, but obviously you're a blue belt. You're probably in some better condition than when you first started. Don't let that slide. If you've been working on your diet, if you've been exercising, you've been doing all these other lifestyle habits that have come as a byproduct of jiu-jitsu, keep those going, right? Tell your wife, hey, I got to lift some weights and do some cardio in the morning. Get up earlier to get it done while she's taking care of the baby. Whatever you got to do, bro, keep that together. Because what ends up happening is a lot of people that come into jiu-jitsu, they weren't naturally into dieting or into exercise or any of this stuff. But jiu-jitsu becomes this sort of anchoring habit. And because of the nature of jiu-jitsu, we get feedback for the stuff that we do outside of the gym. So if I go into the gym and I ate a big greasy cheeseburger and, drank some beers or something the night before, when I go into the gym to train, I'm not going to feel too sharp, right? But if I eat a good, clean diet, I drink some water and all this stuff, I'll feel pretty good. Now, I'm sure someone's going to post on here, well, so-and-so eats cheeseburgers and so-and-so eats this. Talk to me when they're like 40, 45, right? Again, people can do things in spite of their diet, not because of it. But for most of us, like eating a good, clean diet is going to be a big deal when you go into the gym. Right? You eat a good, clean diet, you feel better when you train, you have that feedback, and it makes you kind of go, maybe I should start eating like this a little bit more. You cut out alcohol at night, you sleep better, you come into the gym and you feel sharp. Mentally, you're zoned in. You're like, I feel pretty good. Maybe I should stop drinking so much, right? And so you get all these cascading things that like happen in our lives because of what's going on in the gym, right? When the gym goes away, when rolling goes away and that feedback goes away, a lot of people start to slack on these other things. So keep all the good habits that you have accumulated, if you have, from jiu-jitsu, keep those going with you. So this way, when you come back to the gym, you want to be more or less in the same shape. Be in shape, lifting weights, doing your cardio stuff, whatever it is that you're doing now, keep doing that stuff. And then when you come back, it won't be such a slog. And here's the deal. When you come back to the gym, you will come back and the moves and the techniques will come back pretty quickly. It's not like your body just completely forgets all this stuff and you lose all these neuromuscular connections you've developed. They're still there. Think of it as like a filing cabinet. When you stop using the movements over and over again consistently, they just kind of go to the back. Your body says, hey, we don't need these files right now. We're not accessing these very often, right? They store them away. But when you start coming back to jiu-jitsu, it's like, oh, hey, let's bring those back to the front because we're accessing all these different things like arm bars and these grips that we need. And so we'll bring these to the front so we can access them faster. And that generally happens pretty fast. Also, as a side benefit with this time off, because again, the longer you train, Austin, this is going to happen. You're going to have time off. Life happens, injuries happen, things, right? When you come back to it, you're going to have this beautiful, gratitude for training because you're going to be able to train again. You're going to be so zeroed in because you're going to be focused because you've had this time off. I mean, it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if that when you come back, you'll obviously be starting back at a deficit. You'll probably feel like you've lost a little skill. But if you don't make that up rapidly and very quickly and even exceed where you were at before, because of the fact that you're so focused when you come back from that layoff, right? I've seen this happen multiple times where people take a layoff for a few months, they come down, and when they come back, they shoot right back up. So anyway, that's my ideas to you, brother. Hopefully that helps. Talk to you guys next time.